I'm going to show you in this video how you can make a marvellous window box. Now here's a great design tip that can not only be bespoke and just what you need, but also save you money at the same time. I have made this window box. It's incredibly easy to do. All I'm looking at is 4 sides and a bottom. Now I've also stained it to match in with the timbers and my windows here as well, because it's not about the window box, it's about the plants. So I'm trying to get the window box to blend into the background, so the cascading plants over the front will be the main effect. Now the secret with any container, pot or window box or anything similar to that is drainage. You don't want it to fill up with water and rot the roots. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with a router and a drill, make some holes. So I've put plenty of drainage holes in the bottom of the container, which is great because it just takes away that excess moisture. But here's another really good design tip. You can buy some plastic to line the inside of the container to make the wood last longer. There's a bit of a barrier between the moisture in the compost and the wood itself. But don't go spending your money. Your compost bag that you've used, I've taken the compost out, it's in a wheelbarrow, and I've cut this open. And I'm going to use this as a liner. Very practical, of course, and saves me money too. And to secure it into position, I'm just using a staple gun. Don't worry if a little bit comes over the top, because I'm going to trim that afterwards. If you don't have a staple gun, you can always use drawing pins, or even just the weight of the compost in, and then just trim around the surface. There we are, just trim around the outside. All perfectly lined. I've also poked a hole through the plastic where all the drainage holes that I drilled earlier on. Now it's time for the plants. So I'm just lining the base of the window box with peat-free compost. It's always best to put a bit in to begin with, and then you can move it up as you plant. I always stand the plants I'm going to put in into the window box first, just really to get the scale, because if you've planted them and then want to move them, you're disturbing the roots. So just lay them on the top until it looks right for you. So I've got a combination. I really like this beautiful begonia to cascade at the front. And I had looked to see these ivy leaf geraniums here would flag it. So I've got the warmth of the orange in the middle and the pure white either side. Then to trail along the sides, I've got this calibraca here. Now look at that, lovely double flowers on one end, and this little, well, this has been in the pot for a while. It's dying to get out and grow. This is a foliage a trailing plant. It's Helichrysum microphyllum. So I'm just going to plant that along that side, and I think that's pretty much the layout. And then I take it back out and work one end and backfill until they're all planted in. The secret when choosing your compost is make sure your compost is specific to hanging baskets, tubs and containers, because they have a wetting agent in it that enables it to be able to rehydrate better. And you think about it, hanging baskets and window boxes sometimes are under the eaves of the house and rain doesn't always get into them. And if they dry out, sometimes they can be very difficult to re-wet. So buying basket, tub and container compost is your best choice. You can add supplements. These are moisture control crystals that expand, almost like little oasis, and absorb lots of water. It becomes quite jelly, enabling the plants to be able to access the water, and it also helps it to re-wet. Don't put too much in, otherwise it expands so much it puts the compost out. But you know, just a light sprinkling over the surface of the compost, that's it, not too much, and then just mix it in will help re-wet the compost and hold a little bit more moisture in. Now I've laid out the plants and I know exactly where they're going, I have a tendency to start planting one end and working my way back. Many people will start in the middle so they can centralise it, but I roughly know where everything's going, and I find it easier to move the compost around and then fill this end. So I'm just going to putting the first plant into position just at the edge, and now I'm drawing some of the compost from further down in the container to put it in. There we go. Now moving in to the next container, out you come. Did a little bit of a hole there. Draw some of this compost in position and I give it a light firm. There we go. Now putting it centrally in the container is going to grow over the sides, but if I put it into the center it gives a bit more room for the roots to move. And I'm ready to move into my next one. Now the begonia is beautiful, so full of flower. Give the pot a little squeeze with your fingers like that and it just loosens the side. Look how easy that was to take straight out. So I'm now moving a bit of compost around to enable this central one to go into position. And you can just backfill around the outside. Now you give it a little firm with your fingers because the water will do that as well. So if it is a little bit high on the compost, your first water will compact and draw the compost down. This is a lovely plant at the end. It's a Helichrysum. It'll grow almost to the ground, I'll tell you. A bit more compost in here. Now, I've chosen the warm colours of the orange really to go with the brown of the stable doors and the window. But you can have some fun with your own colour choices. White is a good companion. You can have silvers and blues and whites and pinks, and it just one pops and sets off the other. But I think that's about it. A lot of people have a tendency to try and cram as many plants in as possible. But you've got to remember, each of these plants are going to grow. So a little bit of space at the beginning enables them to send out roots and survive really well. And the secret is, of course, when it's into position, is to make sure that it's regularly watered, hydrated, enabling them to grow. And some liquid feed as they grow, and your plants will really perform. Now we come on to attaching it to the wall. Realistically, I would say once you've got the liner in, then I'd attach it onto the wall. Then you can put your compost and plants in afterwards. I've done it this way round because you don't want to be seeing my back whilst I'm planting it up. I've also already put some hooks into the wall, so I just need to lift this into position. But a very good design tip is check which way your windows open. Because if they open this way, you can have them high up onto the window shelf. But don't do that if your windows open outwards, otherwise you'll be chopping the tops off your plants. There we are. What a difference that makes. You just think in your own home, side of the garage, the fence, a wall, anywhere that looks a bit bland, you can add a pop of colour and beauty just where you need it. Window boxes are great. Also, remember to water on a regular basis and you get the best performance from your plants, and feed as well. That's also key. Many bedding plants, although I'm in the shade at the moment, I won't be in an hour or so as the sun moves around, prefer a sunnier location. And deadhead, take off finished flowering heads to redirect the plant's energy into producing more flowers rather than producing seeds. And trim where necessary. If one plant starts to overgrow with a bit more vigour, trim it back to keep everything in proportion. And that way you'll have successful, beautiful window boxes that you can plant every year. A big thanks to today's sponsor of the video, Everest Home Improvements. For more information on Everest, just check out the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more great content like this. And if you turn on your notifications, you'll never miss another video.